Hi, Junk Journal friends. This is Stacy at JunkyCatJunction, and I am here today with a flashback flip through. I don't have any Christmas journals for this year ready to show, but I thought I would show one journal that I made in 2023. This one was made for my oldest granddaughter. And this is an Advent Christmas journal. So I just thought I would flip through this and maybe give you some inspiration or some ideas for how you too can create an Advent journal. I made 6 of them this year, one for each of my grandkids. One for each of my grandkids that was old enough to, sort of appreciate something like this. And now I have 2 more, but they're still too little for an Advent journal. So you can see here. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. How rude of me. Thank you for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. And if this is, if you're returning to Junky Cat Junction, I appreciate it. Welcome back. And yeah, so we'll just do this little flip through of this Advent journal. And yeah, you can tell me what you think in the comments. So as you can see, it is a ring bound journal. It measures... well, I'll just have to use my mat here, about 8.5 by 10.5. And what I did is I used chipboard, and I purchased the chipboard because I wanted it to be really thick and substantial. So I purchased it from Amazon, cut it down to size, and then I covered it. This is the Craft Consortium 12 Days of Christmas paper line from a couple of years ago, but I think you can still get it. And this particular paper is the, 8 Maids a Milking. And so each grandchild got a different paper from this line corresponding to a different day in the 12 Days of Christmas. I do have another real quick flip through that I filmed at the time I made these, so I might insert that at the end or in here somewhere so you can kind of see what the other ones looked like. So yeah, I covered it in that paper, front and back, although the back is corresponding paper, not necessarily the same paper, but from the same paper line. And then I made just a little tassel out of various Christmassy type trims, and vintage buttons, and beads. So pretty, oh, and here's a bell. So pretty basic, but just something cute that they could, attach to the front of it. Since this is a couple years old, my granddaughter has used it a little bit. And so, there's some writing in here that it's not private or anything, or anything you can't show on YouTube. But anyway, so the cover here, this is made from layered Tim Holtz frame elements. And then the tag behind this is just a, I think this is even a Tim Holtz, tag that I covered in coffee dyed paper. But then that is what I used for the, get in there, to stamp the Merry Christmas and, you know, the year on there. Then getting into it, again, I used corresponding paper. Oh, and I also gilded the edges. Obviously, I didn't glue one of the book corners on well enough because we lost this one. But regardless, we'll just ignore that. So then I used corresponding paper on the inside, and then I inserted or, you know, attached a library book pocket. And then this is how I didn't really sign it, but this is how oh my gosh. And I gave these to them on December 1st, of course, because it was Advent of 2023. So exactly 2 years ago today. So yeah, this one was given to Addison by Gigi, and Christmas Advent 2023. So then some pretty vellum, snowflake vellum with just a sewn on page tab. Let me scooch that over a little bit. There we go. And then some, not Echo Park. What's the other one? Oh, you know what I'm talking about. There's Echo Park, and then there's the other one that is also sold by the same company. But this is scrapbook paper from that paper line with some of the little coordinating ephemera. And then I found that same year a book in a thrift store that was sort of like a Christmas memories book. She hasn't filled this out, obviously, but I took one each of one of the pages out of the book. So home address, what we're grateful for, Christmas tree and decorations, travels, events, favorite movies, songs, food, games, gifts we received, gifts we gave, new traditions, celebrations, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. This is a signature page, so this is one of the pages that has been written on. Some of her friends signed it. And then just a place to record special moments and memories from that Christmas and recipes. So I just thought that was kind of a fun addition. And you know what? My grandkids are young, so you know, maybe at some point they will fill these pages out for a different year. Doesn't matter. It's junk journaling, right? So it doesn't matter. But yeah. So yeah, here's a little fabric snippet sewed to the top of this page with a little Christmas sticker. And then here is the Advent calendar. And then in this section, all of this, these are all envelopes labeled with each day of December with those numbers. And I used, because I wanted to be able to use the entire envelope, so I didn't want to punch holes in the envelopes themselves, I created these, they're not really hinges, but they're just extra pieces that I glued on both sides of the envelope, and that's what I punched the holes in. So each envelope has the scripture from the first day, and then either an activity to do like with family, or just an activity that they could do by themselves. Some envelopes only have the scripture because, you know, they get busy this time of year, so they don't have time to do all of the activity, you know, an activity every single day. So sometimes it was just the scripture. So again, here's some paper that I used to make the, whatever you want to call that, the extension. And then the scripture and a vintage Christmas recipe card. And that one, my two oldest granddaughters particularly are good bakers, so I thought they might eventually use those Christmas cards. So on the third day, we have the scripture and a starched snowflake, vintage starched snowflake. And then the fourth day is the scripture and a vintage postcard. This one is from 1909. So they each one got one of those. And then in this envelope is just the scripture. And for the 6th day is the scripture and an angel, vintage angel ornament from it's vintage, it's Victorian looking from, I think it's 1984, but just something pretty. And on the 7th day, the scripture and a Christmas word scramble. And then on the 8th day, some of these images are from Ideals magazines, and some of them, as you can see here, are from the paper line, just mainly scraps that I used. And then here's another little ornament, but this one, this is actually packaging from a package of stickers, but I thought it was kind of cool, and they could like put a picture back here. And then, of course, the scripture. And the 9th day, scripture and go see Christmas lights. And the reason I put that on the 9th day was because that was the day that year that we had her birthday party, Addison's birthday party. Her birthday's on the 22nd of December, but we had her birthday party early that year. And one of our traditions after the party is we all get in our cars, and there's a park near our where we all live that dresses up all of the trees and puts up a ton of lighted displays. And so we always go to that park with some hot chocolate, and we walk around and we look at all of the displays and the lights. So that's why that was the activity for the 9th, was to go look at Christmas lights. Then the 10th is the scripture and a Christmas dot box game. And the 11th is just the scripture. Whoops, come on. There we go. And the 12th is the scripture and Christmas Connect 4. Get in there. And the 13th feels like it's just the scripture. Yep. And the 14th, I just have this little envelope I made out of vellum with some Christmas stamps and a sticker that looks like a stamp with this little Santa clothespin. And then the 14th was just a scripture, and the 15th scripture, and the 16th scripture, 17th scripture, and a recipe for peanut butter chocolate chip cookies, or to make peanut butter chocolate chip cookie mix to give as a gift. And then, okay, stop being difficult. There we go. Then the 18th is scripture, and the 19th is scripture and stickers, and the 20th is scripture and take turns saying something you love about Christmas. That was intended to be a family, activity. And the 21st is scripture. And the 22nd, like I said, this was her birthday, but nothing special on that day, just nothing special except the scripture. And then on the 23rd, scripture, and 24th, scripture, and this, I found out what each of their favorite Christmas songs or Christmas carols was, and I just made a journaling card out of a page from a carol book, and slipped that in there. And of course, it's being difficult. Okay, we're going to come back to that. And then on the 25th day on Christmas, it is the last of the scripture, and take a family Christmas selfie. Use mom or dad's phone and bonus points for sharing. So that was all of the Advent part of this journal. And then in the back half, there's some decorating. There's some other scrapbook paper. This is a Tim Holtz piece as a tuck spot. Whatever their cover was, I included a little golden book page from the 12 Days of Christmas that corresponded with their cover. So this is the 8th day and the 8 Maids of Milking page from Little Golden Book. And then this is an envelope with a vintage wrapping paper tag. And then this is from a Tasha Tudor book, Take Joy. If you're familiar with Tasha Tudor and her books and illustrations, they're just absolutely lovely. So just added some red trim there. And a Christmas card. And Santa paper. This is just, printer stationery paper. And another golden book page from 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. And a piece of the scrapbook paper that kind of has various of the, like here's the 5 golden rings, Lords a-leaping, however many people dancing, and so forth. And just plain green scrapbook paper with some ephemera. This is some vintage ribbon of the wise men traveling to the birth of Jesus. And then this is also scrapbook paper. Whoops. I can't remember what line this is from. But it's also like this same of the the wise men and the birth of Jesus and all of that. All of that. Oh my gosh. Some more winter stationery, a Mad Libs page, a vintage coloring book page, another page from Little Golden Book. This one is I can't remember what it's called, but it's illustrated by not Corinne Malvern, the other one. I can't think of her name, but I'm sure you all recognize the illustration. I just wish I could remember which book that was. And then here's some more music paper with a little sticker. And this is from The Christmas Story Little Golden Book, and another piece of this, the wise men going to see the baby Jesus. And this is from a vintage, I believe, highlights or some other kind of activity book from like it's a Christmas theme. And then this is another Little Golden Book page from, I believe this one is Santa's Workshop, with just a little Tim Holtz ephemera stapled there. And this is 2 pages from an Christmas Ideals sewn together. This one, it's actually, they were probably adjacent pages, and to keep them together, I sewed them together. So the poem is Christmas Holly. And then, of course, you can't have Christmas without the Grinch. I have to include a page from the Grinch. And then this is from the Nutcracker, Little Golden Book. Some more pretty paper, which has a pocket here made out of a vintage Christmas card. And some more printer paper. And another Christmas card. And this is from the one that Richard Scarry illustrated. I can't remember which one. Oh, it's from Jingle Bells. That's right, Jingle Bells. So that's from that little golden book. And then this is another Ideals book page of Santa, Santa's clothing. And then this is the 12 Days of Christmas. And then this is a pocket that I made out of a flashcard. And I stamped it and then embossed it with embossing glaze. And then I created, everybody in our house loves Christmas tree cakes. So everybody got a tag made out of a Christmas tree cake box. This is just green file folder. And this is from Rudolph. This is the little golden book. And this is another piece of stationery, Christmas stationery. And maybe this was Santa's workshop. Well, anyway, I'm sure anyone who has ever watched a Christmas golden book flip through or a Christmas haul has seen all of these little golden books. And you can probably tell me which ones they are better than I can remember what they are. But here's another 12 Days of Christmas and 8 Maids of Milking, just like her cover. She is a redhead, so this, she doesn't really look like this, but just, you know, a nod to her, what she looks like. And this is a page from an Ideals magazine. And then White Christmas is their favorite Christmas movie. And so I just took a couple pages from a White Christmas book about the movie and sewed those together. And then this is some washi tape that I made from some Christmas fabrics. And this is a tuck spot made from a cassette of Bing Crosby Christmas carols, Christmas songs. And then, yeah, this is just a piece of white cardstock. And then this is the back cover. So, yeah, that is the Advent journal that I made for my eldest granddaughter. And like I said, I made 6 of them that year. It was down to the wire, which is actually why you don't see a lot of embellishing in this book, because quite frankly, making all of these pieces that you know, kind of hinged onto the envelopes took a really, really long time. I don't know that I recommend it. However, I didn't even get the idea for this, for these journals until I think it was after Halloween. So I didn't even start on them until November. So if I had had more time, there would have been a lot more embellishing. But as it stands, I think they all turned out great. And like I said, I will insert a video into this video that shows some of the other ones and just how they turned out. Mainly it'll be the covers and the tassels. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this flip through of this this Advent journal. Maybe it gave you some inspiration. If it did, feel free to leave a comment below. And I appreciate you watching. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.